Vestavia Hills City Schools podcast. I'm Whit McGee.
And I'm Brooke Wordsworth.
Hello, Brooke. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Whit. How are you?
Doing great. Happy October.
I know.
It's years going by quick, isn't it?
I know. We're already 2 months in, finishing the first 9 weeks, and I can't believe we're already into October.
Mm-hmm, that's right. We've had some really great episodes this year as well. In September, we got the opportunity to talk to Dr. Patrick Martin, our Assistant Superintendent of Operations and Services, just going over the facilities in the school system, all of the opportunities that are there for us, that so many things that go on in operations, from child nutrition to school nurses to transportation, to buildings and maintenance. And then also Dr. Sandy Ritchie, who talked about exceptional education. I was amazed to learn in that episode that there are over 3,000 students in our system who fall under some area of the exceptional education umbrella. That was amazing to me.
Absolutely. And she did a great job of really talking about all the services that we provide for our students, from students with exceptionalities, our students who are English language learners. So that was a very interesting episode, and I would encourage y'all to go back and check that one out if you haven't heard it yet. There
is a new initiative in the school system that we are working on. You're going to be hearing about it in a future podcast episode, probably in November. And it's called Next Steps. And it basically, not to spoil the announcement of it and everything, but this is going to be a new initiative at all of our middle schools, freshman campus, and high school main campus that help to introduce students to every academic pathway that we have. And there's a lot of them, Brooke.
That's right. I think it'll be a great education piece for our parents as well, to really know what are those pathways that our students can take and what are the opportunities that are available to them, and really opportunities that start as they're leaving elementary school. So I'm excited to hear more about that in our next episode.
Absolutely. So we have got a couple of, or let me say 3 good folks with us today who are involved in part of one of those academic pathways in our high school, and it's the Academy of Craft Training in downtown Birmingham. Russ Cofield, the Director of Education, Darren Ledbetter, who is a welding instructor, and Emily Salas, who is a senior at Vestavia Hills High School, who is in the program, are all with us today. Welcome.
Great to be here. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. So can you give us a little bit of a rundown? This may be the first time that some of our folks have heard of the Academy of Craft Training, what it is, where it is, and also just when it was founded, what purpose it was founded for.
So WIT, our program was founded 7 years ago, and we are a program that was built really by 3 entities. First of all, the State Department of Education. They provide myself and our counselor, Ms. Poindexter, with positions there at the Academy. So we're public educators. We're certified educators, and I'm a certified teacher and administrator. Our job basically is just to meet the learning needs of the students and be their supervision, compliance, so on and so forth, and also to keep relations up with the schools, communicate regularly, so on and so forth. The other 2 entities there is Alabama Industrial Development Training, or AIDT. They give us the building with which we do our work. They pay our bills. We're happy about that. And then last but certainly not least is Associated Builders and Contractors, a collection of construction companies whose office is right here in close by in Homewood on right off 31. Construction has a workforce need with it. They need workers. They've needed workers now for I think several years. It's not just 5 years ago or 10 years ago. It's been an ongoing problem for a lot of years. And so finally we've come to the table in the realization with the best place to get workers is in public high schools, because they're full of workers and students who have all sorts of talents. So we are just one pathway for students, and my job is to go into those schools, obviously, and recruit students. Our recruiting season is coming up here at the end of October, and we go through Thanksgiving break. Vestavia is certainly one school that we will visit. We're looking forward to that. Vestavia has been a great partner. They provided us with really just outstanding students, students like Emily, who's sitting next to me, and so we're excited about our partnership moving forward.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the process? So how does a student go about applying? What are the criteria for the students who are selected
Sure.
to attend?
So students fill out an application. Normally they sit down in a session with myself or our counselor. Then if they're interested, they fill out an application. We get that application in from the school, and every application that's completed is guaranteed an interview with an employer, an ABC, if you will, employer. So in other words, myself, our instructors, we really don't do the interviews with students. Our industry does interviews, and they let us know, okay, this student is a great fit for this program, or this student is not a good fit for this program, and we go off that recommendation.
So in your view, who is right for the Academy of Craft Training? What kind of students do you find? And I would also, Darren, ask this of you, because you're right there in the classroom space teaching this. So in y'all's opinion, what makes an ideal student for the Academy of Craft
Darren,
Training?
you want to take this first?
Yeah. To me, in my opinion, what student fits the Academy the most is maybe the ones that school and college is not for them. Like, it's more of they're one that just wants to work all day, every day, make money. You know, the school thing is not necessarily their cup of tea. I would say that fits them the most, and then probably just the kids that have grown up in the blue-collar work life. You know, their parents are blue-collar workers, or, you know, just construction background to begin with. I got started because of my grandfather, so that's what got me going. It gives them opportunity for something else.
The thing that bonds our students together, and we have students from 15 school districts here in the Birmingham metro area and over 30 high schools, the thing that bonds them together is that they want to go to work after graduation. And then we'll figure the college thing out later, or is additional training needed? You know, we'll figure that out later. And quite honestly, Whit, most of our construction companies are, when they find a good worker that's a potential leader, if school is needed, they're going to help that student go to school. And again, that goes back to that workforce need. They're desperate.
Can you tell us about the trades that are offered at the Academy? And then also, how does that classroom at the Academy differ from, let's say, your traditional high school classroom?
I'm going to let Emily take the second part of that question. So we offer building construction, electrical, welding, HVAC, and interior-exterior finishes. All of those crafts are taught with commercial and industrial focus. We're not training, our goal is to not train residential construction workers. We want commercial and industrial infrastructure construction workers, because that's where the industry is at its greatest need, and that's also an economic proof corner of construction. There's always going to be need to build, refurbish, and improve our infrastructure. Emily, do you want to take the question about classroom? How is the classroom different from Vestavia at the Academy? How is it different from classroom in Vestavia?
Mm-hmm. Everybody comes from everywhere, like in Birmingham, and we're all new there, unless you were there like the year before, and then we're there for like 3 hours. So like we all have to get to know each other. We all have to like learn to like each other. And I feel like it's like a little family.
And again, I think that speaks to that common goal. Mm-hmm. So our students, whether they're from Mountain Brook, Vestavia, Jefferson County, Trussville, Birmingham City, Midfield City, whatever, what have you, the thing that brings them together is they want to go to work, and they want to work together as a part of a team to reach a common goal.
Emily, I'm interested in hearing a little more about your story, because you are a senior this year at the high school. Congratulations. I'm curious to know how you got interested in the Academy of Craft Training, how long you've been doing it, what specific classes and disciplines within the program have been the greatest interest to you, and then also where you see this going.
My dad, he has his own construction company, and he does like concrete. And I remember like a few summers ago, he did like some stairs for one of his friends, and I went with him to do some of the stairs with him, and I really liked it. And like I took art class like my freshman year and sophomore year of high school, and I've always liked to like make things or do things with my hands. So I guess that's kind of like what made me want to join. And I started in the construction class. So my junior year, I took the construction class, and then this year I'm taking welding.
How often do you see crossover like that from students that are interested in a discipline that, at least to me as an outside observer, seems unrelated, but actually is related when it comes to construction and aesthetics and design? How often do you see that?
I say you see it a lot. You get a lot of kids that, like she was talking about, want to work with their hands, want to be a craftsman in a way. I say all the time, welding is art. I mean, it's not something everybody can do. It's kind of to talk about Emily. When she first started welding, she said she had never welded before, and I didn't believe her because it was just like night and day. So to me, I say it's a big time deal. You get a lot of people that, are artsy people, and they can come and just be just fine in the construction world because it's art. I mean, you're taking nothing and turning it into something.
It sounds like your artistic talent comes out in your welding. So that's super cool. Emily, what do you think? Do you know what you want to do when you graduate this year? Do you have plans to pursue a career in welding, or what are your next steps?
This is something that I want to do. I initially started like with the idea that I wanted to go to college for like architecture or something like that, but like I kind of changed it because I really liked welding. So I'll probably go to college for mechanical engineering, something like that. But I still do want to get a job because I've always had a job like since I think freshman year or sophomore year. I've always had a job, and like my parents don't want me to get a job after high school, but I want to do that.
Well, Brooke, I know that you and I had the opportunity in the spring to attend a really special event at the Academy of Craft Training. And this was, Russ, y'all have to help me out with the exact term that you used for this, but it was almost like a signing day for students who had received job offers from numerous construction companies.
And that's what we call it.
Okay,
yes.
So it's a signing day.
We call it our signing day, and that's where our students and Emily, I fully expect her to be one of these students that as springtime rolls around, she's going to have several written job offers from companies that are going to offer her different wages, different benefit packages. They all feature full benefits, 401ks. Our companies want to take our students and grow them from the ground up. So she's going to have several of those to mull over with her parents, and that's exciting.
Wow.
And our students then, on that signing day, they pick that construction company that they want to go with, and representatives from the company come. They put the company hard hat on. We take a lot of pictures. We let the parents come and take pictures, as many as they want. And it's just a celebration, quite honestly, because our students are setting themselves apart, in my mind, at that point in time. They haven't graduated high school yet, and they've achieved full-time employment, gainful employment. So they're different from their classmates in that, and we always say at the academy that a high school student, when they walk across the stage and get their diploma, they're now unemployed. So for students like Emily, she's set apart because she's gainfully employed.
And the thing that stood out to me was, first of all, I mean, every Vestavia student who was in the program had offers, and some of them had numerous. I remember one student in particular who seemed like he had almost half a dozen different offers. Is that right?
That's correct. His name is Markel Thomas. And Markel, I think Darren can speak a little bit more from the industry side. Markel took an offer from MJ Harris, who's a general contractor. Is that correct, Darren?
They're a general contractor. So they a general contractor, to sum it up easy, is they basically do everything. They do it all. So some general contractors are different than others. Some actually have, a lot of their workers that do the work. A lot of contractors that are general contractors sub out a lot of their work. They just kind of manage how the job's going. So that's kind of what Markel's doing. He's basically like a foreman on his job. He runs a crew, has his jobs that he's supposed to get done per the week, and he gets his crew to do it.
So he's managing a crew, and he's at this point 18 or 19 years old.
Yeah,
He's been out of high school for 6 months.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and he's telling people what to do. Yeah.
Wow.
Another one, Whit, is Micah Johnson, a Vestavia graduate. He had several job offers as well, and he took an offer from Good Game, which is based out of Pell City, a general contractor. This is just because I saw this offer with my own eyes, and it was hard for me to process. Our students, just long story short, they all are employed for the first 90 days at a probationary wage. So that levels the playing field so that one employer can't grab everybody. Because believe me, if they could, they would, because they need the workers. But his offer stated after the probationary 90 days, his wage could go up to $25 an hour.
Wow.
And that's 90 days out of high school. And Micah, he works in the shop at Good Game, but he spends a lot of time in the office where he's running a crew there at Good Game.
Good Game is one of your general contractors. It's like a company of multiple companies is how I like to describe them. They do a lot of different things, and it's a lot of, everything is different. They may do concrete, and then they may do piping, HVAC. They do everything. But to touch on, the kids and the offers, that's not coming, we're not the ones that get them the offer. It's the kid is the one that gets the kid the offer. We have what's called Industry Day, where all of other contractors that are associated with us come to the academy, and we set them up in the hallway, and the students get to walk and meet. It's basically like a meet and greet, but the contractor is writing down, who they're interested in. Then they come back, interview the kid. So I tell my kids all the time, it's on you. We're going to put it out there for you, but all that's on you.
And before we move on, I'd like to say this was a huge eye-opener for me last year. Our employers told us that they've been all over the Southeast. They've been to Florida. They've been to Auburn. They've been to Alabama, UAB. Just name your school that has a building science program. And they said, Russ, we've never been somewhere where collectively the students we talk to can articulate a short story about themselves. Okay, what got them here, what they've done here in your program, and then what are their career goals and how can they contribute to our company. That collectively no one can do it better than our students can. That was a huge eye-opener for me.
Well, and what great skills to develop. I mean, think about, I don't know, when I was even finished in college trying to go interview or get a job. I mean, having those skills is really just an amazing thing. I think this opportunity, which I followed it over the years, but it really is an amazing opportunity for our students to see, like Emily even said, just to explore and see, is this something I'm interested in? Or I don't even know which trade, but I'm going to go and see. Or maybe I don't know if I want to go to college or I do, but I think it's a great opportunity for them to start exploring and seeing what interests them, what skills do they have, and then to have an opportunity to get a job right out of high school.
We really haven't touched on employability training. So we offer construction training, safety training, and employability training. We talk about how do you get a job? How do you win the interview? How to get the job? How to keep the job? How to advance in a career? Okay, how to move up the chain? We talk about all those things. We talk about them on a daily basis. Our instructors like Darren talk about everything from financial literacy to how do you form relationships with your supervisors, whether you like that supervisor or not, and whether you naturally get along with that person or not. How do you manage that? And so there's a lot to unfold to I guess unpack there. But we talk about those things, and we talk about them on a pretty regular basis, don't we, Emily? Absolutely. She's nodding her head over there. And, we just talk about it because that's a key to success. And so I didn't want to go through this podcast without mentioning that, because that's so vital to the workforce. Not just that we train them in the craft, but we train them in employability.
I see it that way too. I see it as, yes, we're teaching them a trade, a skill that they'll know for life, but I look at it too, and I try to teach my students just how to be a good employee and just how to be a good person in general and how to be successful in what you do.
I want to ask about something that, Darren, you just touched on about your industry days and all of the industry partners who are involved with this and that really help the program to flourish and help the students to flourish. We've got a number of those who are within the Vestavia Hills community, so I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't ask, how can those industry partners get involved or support the program? How can people here in Vestavia Hills pour their knowledge, their expertise, their resources into what you're doing?
I mean, pretty much it's just, reach out, get in touch with us, talk to us. We can set you up, get you set to come be a part of the academy. I like to say it's a free way to get employees. I mean, we've got them ready for you. You just come and get them.
We are going to be talking about this much more in depth with all of our students in the school system coming up this fall as part of our new Next Steps program, bringing more emphasis to all of our different pathways in the high school. But do y'all have any hopes, dreams, plans for craft training downtown and just the growth and expansion of this program? Or anything that you'd like to see?
I mean, just to touch on growth, I know we're talking about Birmingham, but this year we actually opened another campus in Mobile, Alabama, and we are actually looking at, I think, next year opening a campus in Decatur, Alabama. So that'll be 3 campuses across the state of Alabama, and I know eventually in the future they want to open up more, but just for how I look at it, my hopes is, we just keep growing, get to bigger facilities where we can have more kids, and I'd like to make it more of maybe where in the future we could get the kids longer, just that, maybe open up, get more opportunities at more trades. We only have 5. There's plenty more than 5. So that gives other opportunities for, maybe kids that, these 5 trades we had now maybe is not what they want to do. So we just give them more options.
What would you all like to say, and this is for all of you, but maybe a parent or even a student who's listening and they're considering this opportunity, or maybe they've really never thought about it. What would you like to say to them to encourage them to check this out?
I would say just try it, because especially if you are a sophomore and then going to your junior year, you should definitely try it, because it might not seem like something that you would like, but as soon as you get there, you start to love it. It's literally so good, and it's just really good, and I love it.
Well, it's clear it's made a huge impact on your life, and I can hear that in your words, and we've seen it in the lives of other students there, that this is a place that changes lives.
Yeah,
you feel that way?
Yeah, and I'm glad that I could come back for my senior year, because I feel like it really changed my life. I
think, Whit, that a lot of parents, before they have children, they dream of their children going to college. And I'm a parent of 3. I have 3 daughters. Love them all dearly. And, I guess my experience in education is I've been immersed in career technical education since 2010. And my dreams really shifted from I want my babies to go to college to I want my babies to be happy. And I want them doing something that they don't think is work each and every day. And so whatever that pathway is different for different students. When you look at the Department of Labor, numbers don't lie. And when you look at the statistics show on average that 60 to 65% of the job opportunities available out there for our young people do not require a bachelor's degree or higher. It's that, and we're seeing more and more students like Emily who are just very open and say, college may be an option for me, or I don't want to go to college, but I want to go to work. But it's about your student and what makes your student tick, what are their talents, and again, putting them in a realistic situation where they're going to work every day, but they love what they do and they don't see it as work. That's the path to success.
And to have something that inspires that level of passion, Emily, the level of passion that you have for this opportunity every day, that's a core of our mission and our goals as a school system, is not only to teach students, no matter what they do, the standards of and expectations of their parents and the community and our schools, but also that they find value and meaning in the work that's given to them. And it's so clear that y'all have that.
That's right. What a remarkable experience. And Emily, we will be following your story to see. I know you will have great success, whatever you decide to do, but we're excited to see where you end up.
No question about it. So thank you all for joining us today. Russ Cofield, Darren Ledbetter, Emily Salas, thank you so much for joining us today on the podcast.
Thank you all for having us.
And thank you for listening to the Vestavia Hills City Schools podcast.